Let me be honest with you. I need to tell you something embarrassing. I used to walk into coffee shops, restaurants, retail stores, and I genuinely had no idea what was happening to my money. None. Zero awareness. I was like a financial ghost, haunting my own bank account, confused about why it kept emptying. Here's the thing about being broke that nobody tells you. It's not always about how much you make. I know people earning six figures, who text me asking to borrow $200 until Friday. And I know people earning half that, who somehow always seem fine, who never panic when something breaks, who never do that thing where you check your bank balance, then check it again 2 minutes later, hoping the number changed. It didn't change. It never changes. The difference between these two groups of people isn't luck. Isn't rich parents. Isn't some secret financial knowledge handed down at a special meeting I wasn't invited to. It's habits. Specific daily habits that most people don't even realize they have. I'm going to walk you through the reasons most people stay broke. And I'm going to be honest with you. Some of these are going to be uncomfortable, because you're going to recognize yourself in them. I recognize myself in all of them. Every single one. Which was not a fun afternoon. Number 1. No financial direction. None. Imagine getting in your car for a road trip, with no destination, no map, no GPS, just driving, hoping you end up somewhere good. That's how most people handle money. They earn it. They spend it. They wonder where it went. Then, they do it again next month. No destination. No plan. Just driving in financial circles. And wondering why they never arrive anywhere. When I finally set an actual goal. A specific one. Not, I want to save more money someday. That's not a goal. That's a wish. I mean a real goal. I want $10,000 in this account by this specific date. Everything changed. Because suddenly every purchase had a question attached to it. Does this move me closer to the goal? Or further away? That's it. That's the whole system. 2 options. Closer or further. The $7 coffee that spells my name wrong? Further. Every single time. Number 2. Zero emergency preparation. Here's a statistic that genuinely upset me when I learned it. 1 in 3 Americans cannot cover a $400 emergency. $400. That's less than most people's car payment. And it represents a catastrophe for millions of working adults. Not minimum wage workers only. Not people in difficult situations only. People with real jobs. Real salaries. Who are one flat tire away from a crisis. I was one of these people. I didn't know it. I thought I was fine. Until the day my car needed a $600 repair. And I sat in the mechanic's parking lot for 20 minutes. Calculating which bill I could delay. Which family member I could call. Whether I actually needed this car that badly. I needed the car. I called my brother. It was the most humbling phone call of my adult life. Unexpected expenses aren't unexpected. That's the thing nobody tells you. Cars break. Appliances fail. Medical bills arrive. These things happen to everyone. Always. They're not surprises. They're just events without known dates. And if you're not prepared for them, you're forced to make desperate decisions. Credit card. Family loan. Ignoring the problem and hoping it goes away. None of these are good options. All of them cost you more in the long run. Number 3. No spending plan. You would never run a business without tracking money. No business owner says, I have a rough idea of income and expenses. That's probably fine. They'd be bankrupt in 6 months. Yet most people run their personal finances exactly this way. Rough idea. Vague sense. Monthly confusion about where everything went. I track my spending for 1 month. 1 month. And I found things that I am not proud of. The coffee I already mentioned. The subscriptions. Fresh Bloom. But also smaller things. The impulse purchases at the grocery store. The apps I downloaded and forgot about. The vending machine. I spent $47 at a vending machine in 1 month. $47. On food I didn't plan to eat. From a machine that charges triple the normal price. Because it was convenient. And I wasn't paying attention. Tracking your spending doesn't require complicated software. It doesn't require elaborate spreadsheets. Just look at where your money actually goes. Not where you think it goes. Where it actually goes. These are 2 very different numbers. And the gap between them is usually where your wealth-building money is hiding. Number 4. Living entirely in the present. Now look. Enjoying your money is not a crime. Life is short. Experiences matter. I'm not here to tell you to never spend money on anything enjoyable. That's not a life. That's a punishment. But there's a difference between enjoying the present and pretending the future doesn't exist. Some people make financial decisions As if their future self is someone else's problem. As if 65-year-old them is a stranger they've never met and feel no particular responsibility toward. So they spend everything now and leave nothing for later. And later always arrives. It always arrives. And it always has questions. I think about my future self a lot now because I spent years ignoring him. And he would like me to formally apologize. I'm working on it. Number 5. Expensive habits that don't feel expensive. Not the obvious ones. The sneaky ones. The ones that feel completely normal because everyone around you does them too. Daily coffee runs. $7 per day. $2,555 per year. $25,550 per decade. That's before calculating what that money could have grown into if invested. We're talking potentially $60,000 or more. From coffee. From Stive's Coffee. Frequent restaurant dining. Lunch out every day. Dinner delivery a few times a week. Easy to spend $600 to $800 a month. Without feeling like you're doing anything extreme. Without even a particularly nice meal to show for it. Just convenient food that felt normal. And cost a small fortune. Subscription services. We talked about this. Fresh Bloom. Enough said. Number 6. Not understanding debt. There is good debt and bad debt. Most people treat all debt the same way. Which is a very expensive misunderstanding. Good debt helps you build wealth. A mortgage on a property that generates rental income. Student loans for education that genuinely increases your earning potential. Business loans for ventures that can profit. These borrow money to make more money. Bad debt is everything else. Credit card debt for things you wanted but didn't need. Car loans for vehicles beyond your actual requirements. Financing consumer goods that lose value the moment you buy them. I had bad debt for years. Not dramatic amounts. Just steady. Quietly accumulating. The interest charges showing up every month like uninvited guests. Taking a little bit. Then a little more. Then more. Bad debt doesn't just cost you interest. It stretches your budget beyond sustainable limits. It creates ongoing stress. It prevents you from investing. Which means you pay twice. Once in interest. And once in the wealth you never built. Number 7. Spending money based on what other people think. This one is uncomfortable. Because most people who do this would deny it completely. If you ask them directly, "Are you buying things to impress people?" They'd say no. And they'd mean it. Because they've convinced themselves otherwise. But watch what happens when someone gets a promotion. Watch the new car. The upgraded apartment. The wardrobe refresh. Not because they needed these things. Because they wanted to look like someone who got a promotion. The real irony here. And this is the part that gets me every time. Genuinely wealthy people often display the opposite behavior. Older cars. Modest clothes. Houses that are comfortable rather than impressive. Because they understand something important. Every dollar spent on looking wealthy is a dollar not becoming actual wealth. Meanwhile, people who are genuinely struggling financially are often the ones spending the most money trying to look successful. It's a performance. An expensive one. That costs them the real thing. I bought a watch once. Not because I needed to know the time. My phone tells the time. Everyone's phone tells the time. Because I wanted people at work to notice it. They did not notice it. Not one person. Not once. The watch cost me $340. And accomplished nothing. Except making future me slightly poorer. Future me was not impressed. Number 8. Paying everyone else first. This is how most people handle money. Paycheck arrives. Bills get paid. Groceries. Gas. Various expenses. And then, if anything is left, maybe some savings, maybe some investment. If there's anything left, there's rarely anything left. Because here's what life does. Life expands. Expenses expand to fill available income. If there's money there, it gets spent on things that feel reasonable in the moment and add up to nothing over time. The alternative is simple, but it requires a complete mindset shift. Pay yourself first. Before any bill. Before any expense. A fixed amount goes directly to investments and savings. Automatically. Without thinking. Without deciding. Without the option to spend it instead. Only then do you handle everything else with what remains. When I set this up. When I automated that transfer, so the money moved before I could touch it. Something changed in how I thought about the rest of my money. Because I knew my future was already handled for this month. And that made everything else feel different. Number 9. Being too afraid to invest. Some people are reckless with money. Others are so afraid of any risk that they keep everything in a savings account earning almost nothing, while inflation quietly erodes what they have. Not investing is not the safe option. This is a misunderstanding that costs people enormously. Not investing means your money loses purchasing power every year. Means you miss decades of compound growth. Means you trade one risk for another. And the risk you chose is the worst one. Risk cannot be eliminated. It can only be managed. The question isn't whether to take risk. The question is which risks are worth taking. And a diversified long-term investment portfolio has historically been one of the most reliable ways to build wealth ever discovered. Boring, slow, quiet, and genuinely powerful. Number 10. Only one source of income. Most broke people think about money in exactly one way. Time for dollars. Work hours. Collect paycheck. Spend paycheck. Repeat. This is a ceiling. There are only so many hours. And trading them one-to-one for money has limits. Wealthy people understand that financial freedom comes from income that doesn't require your time. Investments that generate returns. Properties that generate rent. Businesses that generate revenue. Creative work that generates royalties. These streams continue working when you sleep. When you're on vacation. When you're doing literally anything else. Building these streams requires initial sacrifice. You might need to live on less for a period. Work extra hours building something while keeping your day job. Invest money that could have been spent on other things. These feel difficult. They are difficult. But they're the path from trading time for money to money working for you. Number 11. Stopping financial education the moment school ends. Most people learn almost nothing about money in school, and then learn nothing more afterward, and operate on whatever vague financial knowledge they absorb from their environment, which is often not very good knowledge. Financial understanding is not a destination. It's a practice. Markets change. Laws change. Opportunities change. Someone operating on financial knowledge from 20 years ago is making decisions based on a world that no longer exists. I started reading about money 2 years ago. For the first time in my adult life. Actually reading. Actually learning. And I discovered that I had been wrong about several important things. For a long time. Confidently wrong. The most expensive kind of wrong. You don't need to become a financial expert. You need to understand a few core concepts well. Compound growth. Debt management. Basic investing principles. Tax efficiency. These aren't complicated subjects. They require some attention. And that attention pays dividends. Literally. So here's where we are. 11 reasons people stay broke. And I recognized every single one of them in my past self. Some of them I'm still working on. Because changing habits isn't a single decision. It's a daily practice. But here's the thing I want you to take from this. You don't need to fix all 11 of these at once. That's overwhelming. And overwhelming leads to doing nothing. Pick one. The one that resonated most. The one where you quietly thought, that's me. Start there. For me, it was the automatic investment. Paying myself first. Before I could spend it elsewhere. Before Fresh Bloom could claim it. Before Stive's coffee shop could claim it. Before another impulse purchase at a store I didn't plan to visit. $100. Automatic. Every month. Before anything else. That one change started everything else. Because when you see money growing, when you watch compound interest quietly doing its work, you start asking different questions about every purchase. Is this worth what it's costing my future? Sometimes yes. Often no. And that question alone is worth more than anything I've ever bought. The path from broke to financially secure isn't mysterious. It's not reserved for people smarter than you, or luckier than you, or with better starting positions than you. It's available to anyone willing to acknowledge the habits keeping them stuck and replace them, one at a time. Starting today, subscribe to Broke to O, because next week, we're going to talk about that moment. The moment when you open your investment account, after years of discipline, and you say, oh, just oh, and everything was worth it.